Welcome to Business Connection. I'm Liz Spencer. We're welcoming back an old friend, Mike Baker. He's president of Dutchman Heating and Cooling, but he brought a friend. It's so nice to see it. Now, I think this dog is really aptly named Freon.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about what role he's playing for you.
Well, we do use him in advertising. We named him just to be interesting to what we do in our business for ourselves, but we brought him to the office quite frequently, and people got to visit with him, and we even have people that come to try and meet him at the office from time to time. So we decided to use him a little bit in our marketing as well because, well, A, we want to stand out and be remembered, but also because we're pet friendly and pet conscious to what that means to people in their homes, whether it be on a service call to make sure that we're not letting a dog escape or making sure that we're not hurting their environment. And they have their own concerns and bring us added concerns for heating, cooling, and cleaning the air in the home.
You bet. A dog, a cat is an important part of the family.
Absolutely.
So it's nice to see that you've got a new family member here. So tell me a little bit about, we have 4 seasons here, but winter is particularly challenging for some of us more than others. I'm just saying for myself. What are some of the home comfort concerns that we need to be thinking about now as we're facing some pretty big cold?
Well, first of all, I think our industry wants to thank you because every time I come and visit you, it seems the most extreme day of the season. I think I've been here 3 times on 95-degree days outdoors. And honestly, I do as well, but both are good for our business. And what we're looking to do is obviously keep you comfortable in your home. So there's several different things. It's not just heating the air. It's also going to be cleaning the air and keeping you in good humidity levels. Humidity is very closely tied to your comfort because if we give you higher humidity levels, you don't need the heat quite as warm to feel comfortable. It also is good for dry skin, itchy throats, and can help avoid some dust mite issues and other even health things, as well as taking care of furniture, musical instruments, those sorts of things.
I don't think we usually think about I think we think heating and cooling. Yeah, with heat, I want to be warm. Cool, I want to be comfortable and cool. But it really, the quality of my heater or the quality of my air conditioner really affects the air quality in my house.
Absolutely. Yep.
Is it the filtering systems? Is it the expertise that you bring? How does that all work together? Well,
certainly you need somebody that knows what's right for you, and so it takes somebody willing to listen. And that's where we start out. What's important to you? What are you looking for? What do you want to accomplish in your home? Certainly if you have allergens in the home and you have high allergies to those allergens, we want to look to remove them. Give you cleaner air for breathing, both you, your family, your pets. So there are many different products for that, whether it be passive filtration for the dust and the dog hair, pet hair, whatever it might be, or active filtration for the smaller particulate that irritates you, or even UV lights for things like bacteria and mold to be killed or remedialized.
Well, I think that's really important because I think we don't think about the amount of dust and pet hair and allergens that are just in our home, and we sleep with that, and we're always with it. You mentioned humidity. I was also surprised at how much humidity not only makes me more comfortable, but impacts the longevity of my wood floors and my other furniture. Talk to me a little bit more about that.
Well, we do notice the scratchy throats and the dry skin, and it becomes an alert to us that, yes, we need to be more comfortable. But yes, when you look at your hardwood floors, and if you happen to notice the cracks widening between the planks, that's due to the wood shrinking. It's drying out. And what we need to do is keep a higher level of moisture to keep those sealed tight. Otherwise, you can damage that wood in the flooring. Similarly with pianos or wooden stringed instruments, they can be permanently damaged if the wood shrinks too much. It gets certainly out of tune, but could really crack and split as well.
Wow. I never thought about that before. I thought that I find it very interesting. I'm going to go home and look at my own wood floors now. We are, especially in these times of extreme weather, whether it be cold like we are today or hot like we've been before, we tend to seal up that house really tight. How do we keep that air quality healthy for us when we've got that house so sealed up?
Well, certainly some of the things we just talked about, whether it be the UV products or the filtration products, electronic cleaning products to clean the air that's in the home. Because otherwise, with air exchange from outside, there are some natural cleaning products that happen just from air exchange. When a house is sealed tight, we want those active products to help remove and clean the air that's sealed in the home. But the other thing to do is introduce outside air again. And it's something that there's several ways of doing it, depending on what your specific needs are for your home, how much air exchange you might need to add. There's passive ways of just letting air in slightly. But if you need greater amounts, then there's active ways through equipment that can transfer heat, so you're not bringing in all the outdoor temperature and losing the heat to the outside, but rather transferring as the air exchanges so that the heat stays in and the cold stays out.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing. You know, Mike, I think we tend to think about heating and cooling when things go wrong, when suddenly we don't have heat or we suddenly don't have air. How often should we be thinking about our heater or our air conditioning on an annual basis? We probably need to see you more often than we normally do. Well,
all the manufacturers will require 2 checkups a year, one for the air conditioning, one for the heating system. So in order to properly maintain them, clean them, adjust them, and kind of keep an eye on them so that you don't need to see us on the colder days of the year or the hotter days of the year. That maintenance can prevent a lot of that. It also helps them run much more efficiently. And we often will bring up comfort concerns like, did you have a problem conditioning this room? We happen to notice there's not a proper airflow going that direction. Or if you have questions, and we can easily address them during that maintenance call.
Well, and I think you bring up a good point, because I think there's often a hot room or a cold room in the house, and we're like, why? It's just got to be part of the house, until we mention it to you, and you're like, oh no, I can fix this. So
there's almost always a fix. It's just a matter of what is that fix and is it worth it for you.
Right.
Certainly if it's a matter of turning a damper open and now you're comfortable there, that's an obvious one. Certain areas of the home were constructed in such a manner or added on in such a manner that you might need an additional source of heat or cooling. So we have many products that can do that, whether it's a continuation or an advancement to the existing system, or if it's adding on perhaps a mini split system, something to deliver heating or cooling remotely to one area and have individual control for that. That's becoming so much more popular nowadays, and it's a very, very efficient way of heating too.
Well, it is, and people, much like we have our own individual this and that, everybody wants their bedroom just a slightly, some people like it a little bit warmer, some want it a little bit colder, so I'm not surprised we've gone to individual rooms. Tell me a little bit, when we're thinking about whether it be upgrading our heater or maybe replacing it, or same thing for our air conditioning, how long on average do we expect those units to last? Are we thinking every 10 years for a new unit, or what's the industry standard these days?
Well, I would definitely say we're ready when you are.
Yeah. Well, and that's true. And we often find when we call you for an emergency, it's probably because we didn't maintenance it well and we have an older unit.
Yeah, the average life by the industry is telling us about 15 years for an air conditioning system and 18 years for a heating system. We'd like to see a lot longer averages, and I think quality installation is paramount for that. There's a lot of steps that can be skipped during an installation that would really reduce comfort, efficiency, longevity if the installation isn't done to what we would call the Dutchman standards. So that's paramount for getting extra life, and certainly the continued maintenance as well. So that's our main goal, is to differentiate ourselves by doing the little details up front so that you get the results long term. And it may not be something you recognize up front, and it may not be something that others are willing to offer, because it generally will cost us more to provide that. But just knowing the details that can do that for you and then following through, that's where we separate ourselves from our competition.
Mike, you are just a great guy for us to have in the community, so I think that's how you separate as well, because you do care, and that's really important. our houses, our comfort, our home, and so we need it to be heated well and cooled properly. So thank you for stopping by, sharing what you do. It looks like little Freon. Oh, he's back awake here.
About ready to fall asleep here.
That's right, your newest member of the team. So we look forward to seeing you out in the community and your newest member too. We're going to be right back with more Business Connections. Stay tuned.